Good morning, class 7. So we will continue with Vijayanagara Empire. We have completed till the Battle of Talikota. Today we will discuss about administration, economy, society and literature of Vijayanagara. So today we will complete 4 topics of Vijayanagara, talking about administration, economy, society and the literature condition of Vijayanagara. So first we are going to start with the administrative system of Vijayanagara. We will study here that what was the administrative system of Vijayanagara, how they used to follow the administrative system. So let us start with the administration. So the administration was well maintained and very well functioned. So the administration, we have to answer in 2 words, that is well maintained and well functioned. Vijayanagara used to follow the administrative system of the previous ruler. The previous ruler was Pandyas and Hoysalas. So they used to follow I have marked the white border. So they used to follow the administrative system of Hoysalas and Pandyas. They were the previous ruler. They used to rule like Hoysalas and Pandyas. Okay, I have marked with white border. You can see at that area Hoysalas and Pandyas used to rule, and Vijayanagara used to follow the pattern of administration. Now what is the Vijayanagara administrative system is? At the top there is the empire or the king. The king is the head of all. The king was the absolute ruler. Any law he want to make, any law he want to reject, it totally depends upon the king. So the king was the head of the kingdom. Whatever the king is deciding is always correct. Now the whole kingdom was divided into 6 provinces. The whole empire was divided into 6 provinces, and these 6 provinces are known as the Rajyas or Mandalas. Okay, the Mandalams. So it is known as Rajyas or Mandalams. Next is this 6 Rajyas or Mandalams were commanded by the commander officer, that is the Dandanayaka, and the head of this Rajyas were the governor. Basically these Rajyas were ruled by the hereditary family members, but under the guidance of the king. These 6 provinces can rule, but they have to rule according to the king. Under these 6 provinces, there are districts. Under these 6 provinces, there are districts which is known as Nadus. Again, these districts are divided into village. Village are the lowest unit of administration. So the kingdom is divided into 6 provinces. Then the 6 provinces are divided into district. Then the districts are divided into villages or the gramas. Okay, gramas are the lowest unit of administration, and which is known as the villages. So the first administrative system is divided into provinces, then district, then village. Village are the lowest unit of administration. The whole kingdom, village, provinces or the district are headed by the king. Means no one can take the decision all alone. They have to take permission from the king. Next topic we will discuss is the Vijayanagara economy. What is the economic condition of Vijayanagara? So let's start. Vijayanagara economy is totally dependent on agriculture. The main source of economy was the agriculture. Whatever they were doing, but the main source of their economy is agriculture. They are totally dependent on agriculture. We will study in details that what they used to agriculture, what main product they used to farm, and what are the things they used to export and import, what were the main crops, what were the cash crops, that we will discuss. Now before we start the economic condition, we need to know that what were the main crops found in Vijayanagara. The main crops which were found in Vijayanagara, so the main crop they used to produce is corn, cotton, pulses, sugarcane, wheat were mainly produced in this region. So the main crops of Vijayanagara were this. They are totally depend on these products like corn, cotton, pulses, sugarcane, rice, wheat, and many of these products were exported and many of these products were mainly used by them. So these are the main product. You can see the name of the product, which are the main products. I have not written the main products names like rice and wheat. You can write it down. Apart from this mentioned name, rice and wheat are also very important product found in Vijayanagara. Now beside this main product, we will study about the cash crop. There were two main important cash crop. One is betel leaves, another is coconut. So betel leaves and coconut was the main cash crop found in Vijayanagara. Beside this betel leaves and coconut, cotton industry or the cotton production at that time there was no industry. So beside betel leaves and coconut, the main two cash crop, cotton was largely produced in Vijayanagara. Large scale of cotton production was there. Now we will study that what are the products exported from Vijayanagara. Cotton, spices, ivory stone, aromatic product, perfume were exported. Exports were made to China, Burma and Persia. Now what are the products imported to Vijayanagara? Copper, saffron, quicksilver, gold, silver. These are the product. Silver, gold, silver. So these are the product are imported to Vijayanagara. Okay. So quicksilver means mercury, and the main source of revenue. So these are the product imported from Persia and China. Another product which is imported from China was silk. Now this is the chart of the product exported to other country and imported to Vijayanagara. Now the main source of revenue was land tax and trade tax. As you can see the list of export import, you can understand that trade was such. So you can understand that the trade was highly developed in Vijayanagara. The land tax varied always from 1/3 to 1/6 of the produce, but the trade tax was mainly fixed. So land tax and trade tax was the main source of revenue for the Vijayanagara. So these are the exported products and imported products and the region names. And the main source of taxes are two taxes. One is land tax, another is trade tax. So we will now study about the Vijayanagara society. What was the society condition of Vijayanagara? So the main information we got about the Vijayanagara society is mainly from Domingo Pais, another is Abdur Razak. Both of them are foreign visitors who visited Vijayanagara, and they have written their document and information about Vijayanagara. From that information document we are getting the information about how was the society of Vijayanagara. Domingo Pais was from Portugal, Abdur Razak was from Persia. Both of them visited Vijayanagara and written about Vijayanagara, and from there we are getting information about Vijayanagara, that how was the society, what was the society condition, what the people used to do. So the main source of information about the social life is mainly because the two visitors, Domingo Pais and Abdur Razak. So let's talk about the Vijayanagara society. Caste system was present very rigidly. Untouchability was a part of the caste system. There the caste system was also the occupation of the people were also depend on the caste system. Like we know, there are four castes: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas and Shudras. So the occupation of the people are depend on the caste. Brahmanas enjoyed a high rank in the society. The highest rank of all was the Brahmanas. So the caste system was there, untouchability was there, and the highest rank enjoyed by Brahmanas. Now we will study about the women position. Women enjoyed a respected position, but they did not enjoy freedom. They got respect but no freedom for them. Only the upper class women can enjoy high status in society, but they can involve in administration, they can work in trade and finance, but the lower or middle class women, they got no freedom, they can only do the household work. Beside that, no enjoyable position of women. There was child marriage and sati were also practiced in Vijayanagara. So the women position was not so good. They got respect but no freedom. Freedom, a little bit freedom is there for the higher status of women but not for lower and middle class. Next we will study about the literature of Vijayanagara. Next we will study about the literature. The common regional language were Telugu, Tamil, Kannada. There were the regional language. Beside this regional language, philosophers also wrote in regional Sanskrit languages. This regional language was people used to speak in this regional language in their region, like Telugu, Tamil or Kannada. And beside that, they used to write in the regional language as well as they used to write in Sanskrit language. There the Telugu language became very popular during the time of Krishnadeva. The Telugu language became very popular during the time of Krishnadeva as they used to speak a lot in Telugu. Next we will study that what are the subjects were taught during that time or were used in that time of the phase. They used to cover subjects like religion, biography, music, grammar, poetry, medicine. So these were the popular subjects of that time. One is religion, biography of the rulers, obviously the kings, music, grammar, poetry, medicines. They were the very common topic of that time. So these are the 4 topics we have concluded today. One is the administrative system, one is the economic system and society, and the last topic was the literature. So from the administrative system we have understood that the whole empire was disintegrated, means division was there. First provinces, then district, then villages. Economic condition, we understood that the economic condition is mainly depend on agriculture and taxes from land and trade. And we have understood from society, we have understood that the caste system was there. Women position was not so good, though the respect was there, but they did not enjoy freedom from that region. In literature, we have understood that the regional language and Sanskrit both were present at that time. Few subjects became very popular. So we conclude this chapter. Any doubt, any queries, we will discuss later on. And the next video will be, we will come up with topics like religion, art and architecture and the Brahmani kingdom introduction. Thank you, students.